Halloween is over, which means that it's the time of year where we forget about Thanksgiving and focus on Christmas. And what better way to do that here on the Shotus Otis official YouTube channel than by taking a look at what is perhaps the most Christmassy class in Critical Strike, Santa. So, the title of this video is LMB, the class. And for those of you confused by what that means, well, it means exactly what it says. Santa is a class that, unlike many others, heavily relies on its LMB to do significant damage. And it's not just as easy as choosing spray and getting close to your opponents. Santa has no mobility, and the only true defense it has is the Holiday Breeze move, which freezes opponents. So it's important to be able to choose between all three of Santa's LMB types, and it's also important to be able to fully utilize every one of Santa's moves. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to do just that. Santa's LMB is a combination of three different attacks: rapid fire, spraying, and long shot. Each name is pretty self-explanatory, but we'll take a look at each one just to be safe. Rapid fire, as the name suggests, is a rapidly firing LMB that shoots 3 snowballs that each do 6 damage upon impact. What's interesting about rapid fire is that, after a medium distance, each snowball will explode and has the possibility to do 6 AoE damage if an opponent is nearby, which I found to be extremely useful for medium distance crowd control. Anyways, moving on to spraying, this is probably going to be your most used LMB, because it allows you to pretty mindlessly deal a large amount of damage. All you have to do is keep your opponents close. What's really interesting about spray is that it does neutral damage, meaning that even if your opponent is frozen, they'll still take full damage, which we will discuss later. Anyways, let's look at the final part of Santa's LMB, long shot. Once again, as the name implies, Longshot shoots one projectile a long distance similar to Sniper's LMB. However, Longshot has a pretty sizable hitbox and a slower movement speed, and also deals true damage, meaning that it's also good to use if your opponent is frozen. Speaking of being frozen, let's talk about Santa's Q, Holiday Breeze. This is by far Santa's most annoying and overpowered move, since it allows you to freeze opponents for about 1.5 seconds every 4 seconds, meaning that if you have consistent aim, they'll be frozen for quite a lot of time. Now, you probably noticed that I said that Santa's spray LMB deals full damage to an opponent who is frozen. I said this because anyone who is frozen gains +5 defense. This means that if you're using rapid fire, you won't do 18 damage, you'll do 3. So it's important to keep this in mind so that you deal maximum damage. Anyways, let's take a look at Santa's next move, Merry Christmas. This move is pretty aptly named because it shoots out 3 wrapped present boxes. Although, instead of the ones under your tree at home that don't do anything, Santa's boxes explode on impact and give you +2 health per hit, for a total of 6 gained health with a fully accurate attack. Unfortunately, it doesn't deal neutral or true damage, so if your opponent is frozen, they'll still take minimal damage from these boxes. Although, one redeeming factor is the fact that you can very easily use these boxes for crowd control or for coverage, since each box shoots out with a small delay. So, if you move your camera fast enough, you'll be able to spread the presence over a wide area that your opponent is likely to fall into. Now, just to get out of the way, Santa's F simply changes which LMB you are using. So, with that out of the way, we have now covered all of Santa's moves. So, let's take a quick break to hear a word from Red Dragon. The first keyboard I ever used for my PC cost me $25 and was from a brand called Red Dragon. They're a company that specializes in high-quality gaming gear that doesn't break the bank. I was so impressed with that $25 keyboard that I asked Red Dragon if I could join their affiliate program. They said yes, and now you're getting this message. So if you're interested in awesome gaming products for low prices, make sure to visit reddragonshop.com and use the code SHOWTUS for 5% off of your order at checkout. Now, back to the video. Alright, now it's time to learn some Santa combos. Starting with the most common one that you'll use, spray and Q. This is a super simple and effective combo that will allow you to deal tons and tons of damage. Simply freeze your opponent with Q, select the spray LMB, and go to town. If you want to expand upon this combo, simply use E right before freeze ends, giving you an additional 18 damage and 6 health, making this combo potentially very damaging should any opponents get trapped in it. Now, other than that, there aren't really any other combos to use with Santa. As I've pretty much already said, most of Santa is just using your LMB in conjunction with your other moves to kill your opponent based on their distance from you. So, with that in mind, let's move on to the third section of this guide, tips and tricks. My first tip for an incoming Santa user is to master Holiday Breeze, because it's going to be the move that will determine whether or not you win a fight against an opponent. If you're worried about mastering this move, don't worry, it's pretty simple. All you need to do is practice aiming. As long as you use Santa, you'll get better at landing Holiday Breeze. And by the way, Holiday Breeze is technically a projectile, so make sure to treat it as such. My second tip for an incoming Santa user is to learn which situation is right for each of the 3 LMBs. As a general rule, long shot is best for running opponents, rapid fire is best for opponents who are just out of reach, and spray is best for melee classes, especially in conjunction with Holiday Breeze. Now moving on to tip number 3, this one is actually a bit of a trick. I've already mentioned it, but I wanted to mention it again, because it's really useful. The trick, using Merry Christmas E as a wide coverage move, which has a chance to deal damage to your opponents, while also healing you in the process. I should warn you though, that this should only really be done if you're facing a highly mobile opponent, such as Thief. On to my fourth tip, also about Merry Christmas, I think you should all know not to rely on this move for healing. That's because each present only grants 2 health, so even if you land all 3 presents, which isn't super likely, you're still going to only get 6 health. So it's best to use this move for its raw damage output rather than the mild healing that it promises. Anyways, for my 5th and final tip, don't be a runner. In general, of course, but especially if you're using Santa. That's because Santa is a super tanky class, and if you attempt to run, pretty much any other class in the game is going to be able to catch you. So it's just a better bet to hold your ground and fight your way through your opponents. Now that I've given you pretty much all of the information that I can on Santa, it's time for me to conclude. Overall, I really like Santa as a class. Sure, it's better suited for team game modes, but its utility and versatility as a class really do make it one of my favorite options in Critical Strike. With that though, it is now time to end. As always, don't forget to use the code SHOWTUS at reddragonshop.com. Have a great day. Bye-bye.